It's a great day. My name is Shay Brown, the Happy Entrepreneur, and welcome to the Happy Entrepreneur Show, the #1 business development and revenue focused late night show in the country where we're on a mission. And our mission really is to inspire, our mission is to empower, and our mission is to provide you, the hardworking entrepreneur, with all of the resources that are necessary to execute that big vision you have for the people you were called to serve. And on this episode, we have the one and only Pamela Duran, who's in the building. What's up, Pamela? How are you?
Hey, Shay. I'm fantastic. How are you doing?
I'm doing amazing. Welcome to the show. Folks will read your bio. They'll see who you are. But I'm curious. We're going to have this topic today. It all starts with you. And you talk about releasing limited beliefs. Can you take a moment for the folks that are listening? I'm just curious. I always like to address sometimes the elephant in the room, which is why do folks struggle today with believing what's possible? I mean, why would they have limiting beliefs in a time there's Instagram? That's out there. So that's pretty cool, by the way. They've got TikTok. They can turn on Google. They can go to ChatGPT and say, pump me up. And yet you're here saying that they got to release limiting beliefs. So two-part question. One, what are limiting beliefs? Because it means different things to different people. And number two, why do they hold people back?
Well, thanks, Shay, again for having me on your show. It's so exciting. So limiting beliefs, you're right. It is different for different people. So the limiting beliefs are maybe something from your childhood that you grew up with and you don't even know it. And it's so deep rooted inside of you that it is honestly navigating your life and you don't even know it. This is a funny example, but growing up, my dad was like, never step on the towel or the rug when it was wet. It took me 40 years to get over that. I'm like, I'm stepping on the rug wet. So the limiting beliefs are things that just stop us and it causes a barrier. And when we get to that barrier, then we just back up, instead of going forward and breaking through that barrier, to achieve our excellence, to achieve our greatest level that we can, because we are made to be so much more.
As they're listening, they're saying, but there's just cause to have some of these beliefs. I mean, there's a world of chaos right now. Doesn't matter what side of the coin you're on, whether you like this president or the last president, whether you want to wear a mask or not wear a mask, or whether you believe in certain things or not. We all would believe that there's a lot of chaos, but you're standing firm and saying it starts with you. Why is that so important? And why did you select that as the starting part, as a topic that we're going to speak on today?
So truly, your happiness, your excellence, your success does start within you. You are an inside out image, truly. And I base mine on my faith. I am a Christian and I have strong values and morals, and you have to guard those. Even the Bible says to guard your heart, to guard your mind, guard what you put into your temple. We are the temple of God. And so you have to definitely watch that, because when things come in, it could crack your armor. That's what happened to me in my story. And you start believing things that aren't true. And I know that there is a lot of chaos in the world today, but we can stand on that faith and have that compass pointing us in the direct way that we should go, that's going to help us stay our course, stay our Terminator focus to get to our destination that we are designed to get to.
I love it. They're listening and saying, Shay, she's making sense. I'm a Christian. You don't have to be, for those that are watching, but you're going to still walk away with some really good nuggets that will help you. But we should all be centered in something. Doesn't matter what you believe in. I happen to be a Christian as well, by the way. But you have to be centered. Can you take a moment and back up and just let folks know, who is Pamela Duran? What's your backstory that led you to doing what you're doing now?
Sure. So I grew up in poverty, and I really thank God that I was able to overcome that. I did go to college, and I was a survivor of domestic violence. I had 2 small children, and I'm so thankful. I wanted a better life for them. And I wanted to show them there was a better way, and I didn't want them to grow up in that generational curse that can come on a family. When people just stay in that, there is help. And I'm so thankful to the one lady that did help me, and to help me thrive. She helped me survive, and then I just pressed on. I don't know if everybody's like this, Shay, but I just have, and I have it today. It's just a compelling drive to move forward, to accomplish, to meet that goal, to be the best that I can be, whatever it is in whatever arena.
You talked about you being in a situation, domestic violence. You brought that up, and if someone's watching right now, they're going through a difficult time. They're going through something very similar. Let's say that. Um, it's a loaded question, but I'm sure you can handle it. What's the one, two, or three pieces of advice if they're listening right now? And we have folks who are dualpreneurs. They work full-time jobs. They're full-time entrepreneurs. We have folks that are doing multiple things. So here's the question for the person that's listening, that's in a situation right now. What are maybe one, two, or three things you did that you might suggest that they do to move out of that situation?
So you have to want the change, number one. And I did have someone, like I said, help me, to know what to do, which today we have the domestic violence hotline. I was on a board for domestic violence to help other women, and we had a shelter. So there's shelters today that I was unaware of back then. But definitely don't think that you can change that person. Only a person can change themselves. So you cannot change them, and don't think that you can. I think that's a trap that people, or women, maybe men too, fall into, because you want to believe the best of somebody. But if you have children, you just need to have a place that you can go that they don't know where that is. You know, Create another bank account so that you can start putting your money there. So when you do get ready to leave, you're financially stable, you're safe. If you need to go get a TPO order, you can go to the courthouse, get a TPO order, so that will protect you and your children. And you'll have that cone of safety, that you can build around you. And don't be silent about it. I think too many people are silent and they don't share, and they just suffer in their silence. But there's definitely help out there, and people want to help you. Just all you have to do is ask.
Thank you. So well said. For the entrepreneur that's listening right now, you're an entrepreneur and you help folks in the nonprofit. And nonprofit don't mean no profit, by the way. They might make a lot more money than other folks. To be honest with you, well, it depends. If you're working with Pamela, then you can be in that nonprofit type of situation. I'll say it like that. But my question is, working with entrepreneurs, what do you see that's different than someone that's a career? I'll say that. So let's talk to the entrepreneurs. What's some of the limiting beliefs that holds entrepreneurs back from not only getting started, but being able to grow the business at the pace they want? And again, I know that's a very loaded question because some folks are new, some folks are very seasoned professionals. So as you're listening, you kind of adopt this for where you are, because I'm asking her to kind of do the shotgun approach here and kind of share some things that she's seen through her years and years of working with entrepreneurs and nonprofits and all her studies. So here's the question. What are some limiting beliefs that entrepreneurs have that hold them back from really serving the people and making the money they need to help those that need it the most?
I think just from working with entrepreneurs, and I am an entrepreneurial spirit. I am still in the corporate world,
Yay!
trying to get over to the other side full time, but right now I'm doing both. So I think the limiting belief for them is um, I don't know if it's a struggle of their own. I don't think it's self confidence, because you've got to have that self confidence to be able to step out, and
Mhm.
start your journey. And sometimes maybe it's just like you get to a breaking point, you think, I need this many signups today, or I need this many calls, and you don't get them. And you're like, well, what am I doing? Should I be doing this? Should I go back to corporate if you're a full time entrepreneur, or should I just plow forward? But I can say, the truth is when you get to that breaking point, don't give up. Just do not quit. Whatever you're doing, whether you're in between, whether you're a solid entrepreneur and you just get to a wall, just keep going, because you're going to break through that wall. You're going to bust through it, and you're going to have that inspired vision or idea that is going to propel you forward and compel others. They're going to be drawn to you. The people that are your audience will be drawn to you, and and you will succeed.
You will succeed, which makes a huge difference. And one of your areas of specialty that I like is visions. And you and I, before we got started, you kind of brought up that visualizing and seeing something before you see it was very, very important to you. Take a moment and talk about the importance. And the reason I'm asking this question, ladies and gentlemen, as you're watching, is sometimes you got to see it before you see it, or you may never ever see it. And so I want, if she can, I would like Pamela to talk a little about what does that mean? Because we all have our view of the world. And why is it important, and how is she using it not only in her business with her clients to help them be able to not only release the limiting beliefs, but really go after the things they really, really want. And isn't that what life is all about? So here's the question. Visions, what does it mean to you? And what's 1, 2, or 3 ideas you can give to someone to use visions to help them bust through or break through limiting beliefs to really live the life they truly deserve?
Yes, vision is about your dreams coming true. It is about you believing before you see it. So you want a more compelling future. You want your dreams to come true. You want to clear that clutter out of the way so that you can really experience your best life. And you have to write it down. Writing it down will make it happen. There's a book called Write It Down, Make It Happen. That's one book that I love to use in the vision boarding. And I started like in 2017 because I saw so many women in business that just look so downtrodden. I know that's a few years ago. Things have shifted a lot, but they just seem so like they needed something to lift them up, to let them know their dreams aren't over. It doesn't matter your age. Your dreams are ageless. You just timeless. You just go forward with whatever it is, because your dreams are your dreams. They're not anybody else's. God didn't give them to anybody else. So you just keep plowing forward toward that. Write it down, write your goals, have them before you every day, because when you read them every day, say them every day, it is drawing you that much closer to where you want to be.
Yeah, and as you were talking, I started thinking about, wow, what's next with Pamela? What is something that's on your vision board? Now you don't have to share. I know some things are personal, obviously, but we're just all curious. They were all nosy. We're like, man, what's something that's on her vision board? What's something that she sees in the future? What's something that Pamela's thinking big of? And I was thinking about myself, and I was like, wow, looking forward to retirement and looking forward to doing this and being on the beach, and maybe I'll be doing this podcast on the beach. There'll be water there, but don't worry, ladies and gentlemen, don't worry. We'll have the internet. And I'm sitting in my rocking chair still having these type of conversations, because I believe when the question is asked, when do you stop learning? You never stop learning. So I'm hoping to learn until the very last minute. So I guess my question is, what's on your vision board that you feel comfortable sharing now, and why is it so near and dear to you?
So my beach house is definitely on my vision board. Being a number one New York Times bestseller, and also producing a movie. I have movie ideas a lot. I have a notebook beside my bed because I'll just get dreams and I'll write them down. I'm like, that was a movie dream. So those are a few things that I am pressing toward and want to see in my future.
So we'll see the producer, the movie person. Will it be an action flick? Will it be a romantic comedy? What type of movie? No, you don't have to tell us. You don't have to tell us. We're all curious. You're leaving us on the edge. You're like, is she a mystery person? Is she going to be one of those crime scene things? Like, what
Stay
type of movie is
tuned.
she? Huh?
I said, stay tuned.
You got to follow on social media. You got to stay tuned. You got to be in the moment. We have a segment here, Pam, called Today is My January 1st. And today is my January 1st. I love saying those words. And I know some of you wait till 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to be able to share those words. And you can say those words right now. Today is my January 1st. Doesn't that feel good? And others of you, yes. And others of you, you're joining for the very first time.
Hmm.
And welcome to the Happy Entrepreneur family. We're glad you're here. Hit the share button, pay it forward, come back. Don't let this be your last visit. But today is my January 1st, represents our personal mantra. It represents that you get a do over when you wake up, you get a fresh start. It means that the past, no matter what that past looks like back there, it really no longer equals the future. And so, my question to Pamela, she's on the other side right now, is when you hear those words, today is my January 1st, what do you hear? And number two, what was a setback or challenge you had that you had to bounce back from? And I know you've had so many.
So today is my January 1st, and I am an award winning podcast interviewer. I am a number one best-selling author, and I just love to connect people. I love relating to people. I love, and I want people to know that they matter, that I see them. And some days I just feel like taking my phone, connecting my little microphone, and going down the street and just interviewing everybody just to see how they feel, what they're really thinking, and how they can know that they're enough right where they are. They are enough.
Fair enough. What's one of your favorite questions to ask?
So recently I did this at a podcast conference, and it was just about what was their takeaway. So I think if I did that on the street, I would just ask them, do they feel like they're enough? Do you know that you are enough? I would love to
Ah,
hear people's response to that because I want to pour hope and love into them.
why is that so important for you to pour hope and love in other people?
I just feel like they need lifting up. We need to lift our brothers and sisters up. They have more potential than they even know, and they don't know it. You can look at them and see that they don't know it, but there's genius within, and I want to share that, and I want to lift them up. And I know I didn't share my setback question, but I do want to just lift others up and let them know that they're loved.
Oh, we're still waiting now. We want to hit a setback.
Oh,
We're
okay.
not we didn't forget. I don't think we forgot here. The audience is like,
Yeah.
yeah, Shay, has her life always been perfect? I know she went through some domestic stuff, but has her life always been perfect, Shay? Was it just that one little teeny weeny hiccup? It was a big hiccup, but that little teeny hiccup, was that it? We don't know. We're gonna find out.
Shay, going over the years, I finally realized nobody works harder than me. I will go, I will work, I will do the work. And at one point, I kept losing my job, and I was a single mom. I'm like, well, this has got to be because I don't have my degree. So I went back to school. I got my master's degree by the time I was 45, and I do remember the day that I quit having to work two jobs. I was so excited about that. But not only that, but I can tell you, and I don't know if maybe you experienced this or people out there, but over that span of time, it is like there was a mirror held up. Like everywhere I went, there was a person that reflected something in me that I needed to make better or that I didn't do as well as I should. And I'm like, wow, did I really act like that? I didn't even know it. So I don't know if that happens to everybody, but over that span of time. So now, I feel like I'm in a good place. It's really thriving, and I'm really thankful. I'm really so thankful and grateful, for the blessings because they are the blessings. I have faith. I love my family. They're in a good place. And I just thank God for what he's doing and what he's going to do. He's got greater things in store.
Yeah, one of my favorite questions to ask when we have these shows is, what's one of the best pieces of advice that you've ever been given? And I like to always frame it around that you've had mentors along this journey. I haven't heard you say you did all this yourself. You talk about your faith. You talk about how that being the foundation of where you are. And so the question is, of all the mentors you've had on this journey of life, and maybe some who you've even interviewed, that might be a mentor these days. What's one of the best pieces of advice you've ever been given?
Oh my goodness, I've had a lot of mentors. um, but I think is that you have to care about you. Uh, Carrie Moore is one of my mentors recently, and just drilling down into your identity, who you are in Christ, is be who you were designed to be because you're going to make a difference and you're going to flourish in that role, in that identity. There's not anybody else that's you. Nobody else has your fingerprints. Nobody else has your DNA, and nobody else has your God inspired ideas or your stories and testimonies to share. So, what happens to you happens for you is another thing that they've shared over the years. And we just need to make sure that we're sharing our message to help others because they're waiting on us.
Yeah. Why did you start your podcast? We're all curious. I mean, you've got this great podcast that you have going on. It's not something you have to do. It's something that you want to do. Seem to be having fun doing it. Tell us the name of the podcast, the mission, goals, and objective of the podcast, and then what's the backstory? What led you to decide that you wanted to go share your voice with millions of folks all over the world?
So it's Real Heart Talk, You Are Enough, and it's about women who have overcome trauma, struggles, anything that they've been going through, and how they took their power back, and created that sustainable life. And it's so they can share with others so that they can overcome as well. And also, I have professionals on that, can help with emotional trauma or emotional stress or any disorders like that, that they share their resources and their insight into how to help people. And I had a disruption in 2019 before the whole world was disrupted. And that's what my book is about. It starts within you, your heart, mind, emotions deceived. It's an inside job. How that when you are missing something and you don't even realize it, and then you have something come in from the outside that makes you feel something you haven't felt in a long while, and it caused that crack, and it just really disrupted my life. And so I started my podcast after that because I want other women to have a platform to share their story and as a form of healing for them, to share their story and help other women see they can take their power back and also create a sustainable life and go forward and be successful.
I love it. What does success look like for you these days?
It's getting closer and closer to that entrepreneurial journey for sure. But it's balancing the 9 to 5 with my entrepreneurship. I am creating courses online for IT. I've been an IT professional for 30 years, so I have that QA knowledge. I want to share it because there's other people coming up. They may want to get into testing software and problem solving. So I want to create that. And my coaching is online. I'm going to launch that next month. And I'm still writing books and songs. So I have a book coming out next month, and a song also. So.
Okay. She's a writer. She's a songstress. She's someone that does the podcast. What doesn't this woman do? They're all looking. Every time you lean forward and lean back, they're like, Shay, what's going on? What does she have on her shirt? Do you mind letting them see the words that are on your shirt?
But God.
But God. And that's a statement, just 2 words, but a very powerful statement. Why are you wearing that shirt? Why do you decide to wear that shirt right now in this moment on this day? Why? We just want to know.
Because I'm here because of God, but God. If it wasn't for him, I may not be here today. I did have an aunt that was murdered by her husband, and my family was afraid for me for that when I was in my domestic violence situation. So he has pulled me through. He has just blessed me over and over. It's just like that verse that says it just runs you over and takes you over. And I just feel that way. And I just wanted to share my faith and just give people hope. Don't give up. But God, he's there with you as well.
So well said. For folks that want to connect with you, there's a 2-part question I have. What type of clients are you working with or looking to work with these days? That's number 1. And number 2, how can folks connect with you? How can they stay in this conversation over and beyond the time that you and I have right now?
Thank you, Shay. So to the clients are women. I want to help women who are maybe want to grow in their spiritual walk or figure out what their calling or purpose is. I do have a coaching program that goes through that. And my website is liftupevents.com. And it has all of my Instagram, Facebook. My podcast is, you can link to that as well on liftupevents.com.
I love it. Let me say first, thank you so much for being on the Happy Entrepreneur Show. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
Thank you. And thank you. Thank you, the viewer. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for being here. If you haven't, hit the share button. If you get value, hit the share button. Pay this message forward. We don't ask for any money, but we do ask you to pay it forward to bless someone else, to make a difference for someone else. When they hear this message, it can change them as well. And I never get tired of sharing. Every night at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, at the very end, I love to remind you and me that you really are super duper fantastic, that you are so freaking incredible, that you're amazing, that you're awesome, that as you're listening right now, deep down inside you, you got the potential to perform at such a higher level, and it's coming, and that today is your January 1st. And because of just that one reason, and how many ideas do you need to change your life anyway? One, I believe for you, your best is still yet to come. Your best is yet to come. Your best is yet to come. With that being said, my name is Shay Brown, the Happy Entrepreneur. Make it a great day, everyone. And I promise you from the bottom of my heart, we'll make some good things happen. We connect again next time. God bless, and I wish you success. Peace. Bye-bye.